Jonesboro. It is hard not to see it as a symbol of something gone terribly wrong in the way children are exposed to violence in this country. But what are the facts? Tonight we want to see what we can learn about two specific little boys and the short lives they lived before they were charged with capital murder. John Quinones and the primetime team spent the day gathering home movies, interviews, and new details about the mystery behind the murders in Arkansas.
Christmas 1993. Andrew Golden, then 6 years old, fascinated with his new toy gun. All of Andrew's family were gun enthusiasts. It's a way of life in this small Arkansas town. We'll show you more of this family video album in a moment. But first, the question, how does a little boy and innocent play turn to this? Yesterday afternoon, 12:35. Police say Andrew Golden triggers a fire alarm, and as his classmates stream out of school, he and a 13-year-old friend, Mitchell Johnson, riddled the schoolyard with gunfire.
People started running.
Some people were running and some people were laying down on the ground screaming.
In all, 13 children and 2 of their teachers are hit. Within hours, 5 are dead. Amber Van Oven knew them all.
Natalie Brooks, Stephanie Johnson, Paige Herrings.
Natalie Brooks. She was Cheyenne Henson's best friend.
She was nice, and I'd spent the night with her before. I knew how she acted and stuff.
She was a good friend.
The victims were all someone's friend, sister, or daughter, even a favorite teacher, like Shannon Wright, who loved her mischievous 6th graders and died a hero as she took a bullet fired at a student.
She just grabbed Emma Pittman in her back like that and pushed her back behind her.
The 6th grader's life was spared. Her teacher lay mortally wounded.
I think she did it to keep from a little kid getting hurt.
It's easy to talk about heroes, but a lot tougher to talk about villains, especially when those accused of the killing spree are just 11 and 13. And now there are new allegations about how they planned the shooting. Law enforcement officials have told Primetime that a white van found near the school is now being investigated as a possible getaway vehicle. It was registered to the older boy's cousin and was equipped with numerous survivalist items, which would have allowed the boys to live outdoors for days. We've also learned this. Just last spring, young Andrew Golden received the highest honors in the junior division of a pistol shoot held right here in Jonesboro. He'd had a lifetime of practice. The home movies speak volumes. Here's Andrew at 6 years old opening up another present. This time it's a real shotgun. He's led outdoors where he fires his first live ammunition. The target, a milk jug. To be fair, the home video shows scene after scene of Andrew as the typical all-American boy. Here's his graduation from kindergarten. But yes, there was always the guns.
How is it that he was exposed to guns?
I think the day his eyes opened, he was, because I have guns and have had all my life.
Golden says Andrew was a good kid from a close family who was never in trouble before. After the shooting, he visited his grandson in jail.
He was very emotional. Seemed like he was in bad shock. And I told him, I said, these are our friends. They're my friends. They're your friends. We're going to help. And you tell them everything that you know, what went on and everything. And some of it wasn't clear to him. He's still kind of in shock, didn't remember some of the events that may have happened.
What does he say? What does he remember?
He remembered shooting at a car, but he didn't remember shooting at anybody. He just, I don't know what happened.
Yet some students heard warnings, not from Andrew, but from the other boy, Mitchell Johnson. Melinda Hanson,
Me and a friend were standing in the gym, and he came up to us and said, tomorrow you'll find out if you live or die.
Charlie Van Oven heard the warnings too.
Why didn't you tell anyone?
I didn't think that he would, you know. You wouldn't believe him.
Doug Golden says he believes that Mitchell put his grandson Andrew up to the whole thing because Andrew knew how to get the guns.
Drew told me that the other boy came to the house and had brought a torch and a hammer, wrenches. They were going to try to get his dad's gun vault open, which was a steel vault, to get their rifles out of it. They couldn't get the vault open. Drew did not know the combination to the gun vault. There was 3 guns, 3 handguns that was not locked up in the vault. One of them was a .38 Derringer. One of them was a small snub nose, like .38 caliber Chief Special. The other was a Security 6 357. After they failed to open that gun vault, they came here and broke in. I don't think that was the intentional plans to start with, but they were desperate to get a hold of the guns. So they broke into the basement door, broke the glass out of the door, went upstairs, and got 3 rifles and ammunition for those rifles, and 4 pistols.
Worsening this grandfather's nightmare is the knowledge that his favorite deer rifle was the weapon which inflicted the most damage. What's more, Doug Golden is convinced that the victims were actually chosen through the crosshairs of his scope.
They were selected because of their sex or who they was. It was not a random shooting where you just shoot out there, because if that had been true, you'd have shot as many boys as you would have girls.
This is the grandson that you taught how to use a gun. A lot of people might blame you for this.
I've taught him, my wife taught him, my son has really taught him into the pistol shooting part of it, and the target shooting, and he's always been real safe and real cautious. He never would go out with a gun by himself. Always had somebody, me or Grandma if we was here.
But a lot of people will say if he was never exposed to guns, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Well, if they want a gun, they could get a gun somewhere.
Tonight, the people of Jonesboro, Arkansas tied white ribbons around their trees in memory of the victims, in memory of the tragedy that has forever changed this little town.
How difficult is it to sleep now?
It's scary. I mean, you have dreams, nightmares, and you can't get the picture of the person laying there on the ground and blood coming out their head and everything. I mean, it's scary.
You
Can't get the picture out of your head.
You think you'll ever get over this?
No. This will stick with me for the rest of my life.
You're too young for this.
And she was too. She was too young to die.
What do you say to them, those families who lost children?
Well,
Wives and mothers.
we don't know why. We may not ever know why. But we're going to all have to try to deal with it. Try to see that this don't happen again.
And we heard from another grandfather today, that of the older boy, who was asked if his grandson had any history of trouble.
No, he's never been a violent kid.
Buster Johnson, the grandfather of Mitchell Johnson, talked to our Minneapolis affiliate KSTP.
This comes as a complete shock for us because he's not a violent kid. He's a smart kid. He's a very smart kid. Does fine in school. We don't know of any problems that pre-existed.
The young Johnson had attended school in Spring Valley, Minnesota before his parents divorced. Teachers at the school can't believe what happened.
A number of teachers had expressed shock and disbelief that he was involved in such an incident. And they really were far more concerned of letting the families of the victims know that their hearts go out to them.
Mitchell Johnson's father flew to Arkansas to attend his son's court hearing today.
None of us can understand what happened, why it happened. We feel terrible about the parents of the children and the people that have died. But there's nothing that we can do about that other than just give them our sympathy.
And now John Quinones joins us live from Jonesboro, the detention center there. John, what's been going on inside?
Hello, Diane. Well, behind me in that building, the two young accused killers were formally arraigned this afternoon. They were charged with 5 counts, each of them charged with 5 counts of capital murder and 10 counts of aggravated battery. Now, the prosecuting attorney here tells us that under Arkansas law, there's no way he can try these boys as adults because they're under 14. The age of 14, if that's true, if they're tried in juvenile court, they must be released by the age of 18, if not sooner.
Has anybody else been inside to see them? Any other report of what they're saying?
You know, I spoke this afternoon to the young boy's grandmother, Andrew Golden's grandmother, who told me that she went in to see him. He told her, "Grandma, I don't want to think about anything that happened. I want to put that out of my mind." She says he then climbed into her lap, she held him, and he told her that he loves her. You can't forget, this is a little boy.
It's unimaginable. Our thanks to John Quinones. John will stay on the story for ABC News. And later in this broadcast tonight, we're going to look at